What's up, everybody, and welcome back. Today, we've been noticing a bit of a trend in some news stories that have come out in the recent weeks, and we wanted to talk about them and give you our take on it. So let's dive into the data here and see what it says. All right, so let's start with this article that comes from Axios, and this came out this week, and it says, out-of-state buyers are still showing interest in Raleigh real estate. And this article is talking about the metro areas that have the greatest percentage of people looking at listings in Raleigh while they're out of state. This is a really interesting piece. The first thing I want to note here that the largest consumer group looking at Raleigh that is outside of Raleigh is Charlotte. What's interesting to me about that is I just wonder if Charlotte's jealous of Raleigh. That's been a long-running joke. But of the Zillow page views outside of Raleigh, Charlotte makes up 36% of those. That's a big number. So I'm curious, why are people in Charlotte looking at Raleigh real estate so much? According to this data from Axios, the people who are viewing Raleigh real estate on Zillow outside of Raleigh and outside of the state of North Carolina, the top places are New York, Atlanta, Washington, D.C., and Miami. To me, there's a commonality there. All of those places are substantially more expensive to live there than they are here in Raleigh. Additionally, a lot of those places have great jobs, and a lot of those companies are migrating here to North Carolina as well. This has been a really interesting trend that we've seen, of course, since the pandemic and even post-pandemic. One thing that we've noted so far this year, as sales are down, the moves that we're seeing being made here in our area are generally not locals making a move. Those people who are moving in the Triangle are typically coming from out of state or they're leaving Raleigh. And so those have been the people that we've seen either buy or sell here so far this year. One other thing I'd like to mention that I've seen anecdotally is a lot of people who moved out of state, who were born here, lived here, raised here. They moved out of state after college, got a great job. They were living in Chicago, San Francisco, New York, DC, all the places that they're mentioning here in this article. And now they're starting to have their families, and they all have made a decision to move back to Raleigh. And what comes with that, of course, is the salary that they were making in New York City or San Francisco or Chicago. So they're bringing that here with them, and the affordability that you can buy a home here in Raleigh is obviously much greater. So they bring that salary with them with the ability to buy a very nice home. And so where is this showing up? So this is the next article that we kind of wanted to hit on because this is exactly where that age migration is really showing up. This article comes from the Triangle Business Journal, and it talks about the wealthiest zip codes in the Triangle. But the interesting piece that comes with this is the median age of these wealthy zip codes. So for example, 27562, which is in New Hill, which is outside of Apex, really growing community, takes up part of Chatham County and Wake County as well. 10 years ago, it would certainly not even crack the top 10, and now it is at the top of the list. And the median age of that group is 36 years old. So what are people at 36-year-olds doing? They have recently gotten married or are getting married. They're likely having a child. These are all people who are in home buying age. This is prime time to be buying a home, either a first home or a move-up home. And so we're definitely seeing that. 27608, which is the 5 Point area of Raleigh, comes in second, and the median age there is 40. So you're getting a little bit older, which is expected. You can certainly imagine that in that Hayes, Barton, 5 Points area. And if you want to learn more about 5 Points, you can do that by watching this video here. That neighborhood certainly consists of people who've lived in Raleigh for a long time, as well as some of these migration trends that we've seen. And so the median age there of about 40 makes sense. And we'll drop down to the list at 27540, which is Holly Springs. This has the lowest median age of the whole list at 35 years old, which is expected. Holly Springs is a great place to live, extremely affordable, but also very nice homes. It's growing past its most popular calling card of affordable and certainly becoming unaffordable for the majority of people. But the interesting thing is these 35-year-olds who make up the median age of Holly Springs Again, many of those folks have come in from New York, have come in from Chicago. They bring that high salary with them. And so this just drives up home prices because of that. And I think we're going to continue to see that trend. And just to mention, the average median household income in the Triangle's 25 wealthiest zip codes is about $108,000, according to the Census Bureau. And this is up from $102,000 from the prior year. So again, I think as we see more people moving in from out of state, that's going to continue to drive that median household income number up here in the Triangle. And so let's actually look at some data as to why we're seeing these kind of people move in. The National Association of Realtors recently had their real estate summit forecast, and there's some interesting stats in here, and we'll post these. But job gains in North Carolina from March of 2020, so the onset of the pandemic, to June of 2023, are almost 7% here in North Carolina. That is one of the highest averages in the entire country. Anytime you're gaining jobs, you can expect that home prices are going to grow. So we just talked about the 7% increase in job gains since March of 2020. Let's match that with home price gains since March of 2020 to the second quarter of 2023. North Carolina comes in at a whopping 51%. Home prices in the state of North Carolina are up 51% since the onset of the pandemic. This is just mind-boggling, but as we've been talking about here today, when you take these articles and you kind of put them together and put the data and information together, it all makes sense. It adds up. We're seeing people move in from out of state where they're earning a high income. We're gaining jobs organically here, as well as remote workers who want to move to the Triangle for a better lifestyle. And we're gaining home prices in doing so. When will this stop? Who knows? I don't know if we'll see this kind of run end anytime soon. The only thing that will slow this down is if job gains and wages slow down. That's my opinion. Don't take it for a fact. That's just one man's opinion. You are certainly welcome to form your own. All right, so thanks for watching. Let us know what your thoughts are. I'm going to link all the articles to what we've talked about here below. And not only are home prices going up in North Carolina, but here in Wake County, taxes and insurance are going to go up and going to go up significantly in 2024. We did a video about that. You can watch that here, and we'll talk to you next week.